Hello MouseWorks fans, and welcome to a split edition of the modeling magazine. And this is actually going to be the segment of future kit releases, so let's get into it without delay. There's a lot of ones I missed from the last issue of this magazine, but that was pre-COVID, so I will not go over a lot of those. A lot of things have been released that I announced on my previous shows. So there's a couple highlights. Let's just do that, because there's, just like I said, so many things that have been announced. There actually is a company called Good Smile in Japan that does a lot of figures and things like that. They decided to do some model kits, and they're announcing for February an Ed 209 from the movie RoboCop, which was only done that I know of in a vinyl kit many years ago. Sold out. The company went out of business. Price skyrocketed. Very hard to find. It was big. It was about a foot or more tall. This one's going to be about 8 inches tall. One about $75. It's going to be a plastic kit, but it sounds like it's going to be a Gundam style kit, where the parts are pre-colored and snapped together, posable, which is okay. I mean, for the fact that they're coming out with one, what is it, 25 years after the movie came out, it's going to be kind of nice to see. I don't know if it comes with a figure of RoboCop or if he's going to be separate. So it's from the original movie. If you don't know, look it up. It's a pretty cool robot. The next one coming up, Hobby Boss came out with this year of a 32nd scale A26B. There was a lot of confusion about which version they were going to do. They kept throwing out pictures of the C with the glass nose, so a lot of people thought it was going to be the glass nose, including myself. I wanted to pre-order it. Luckily I didn't, because when it came out it was the B, which is the gun nose. So they had the wrong picture and confused a lot of people. There is confusion on the different versions of this airplane: gun nose, glass nose, and there was in-betweens. So but anyways, they are coming out with the glass nose version, which is technically the C, and that'll be nice to see in 1/32nd scale. The problem is the release of the other kit, the B. There was a few issues, which is always the case. Wings not sitting right, not dihedrals, things like that. But the biggest problem, unfortunately, that I see is that the engines that they give you in the kit are 7-cylinder, and they're supposed to be 9-cylinder. That's a pretty bad mistake, especially since Hobby Boss and Trumpeter have made regular R2800 type engines before, and they could have thrown one of those in there. So they made the mistake. I'm hoping the C will have different engines. I doubt it. It'll probably just be a repop of the other with the glass nose system. But we'll see. We'll see if they listen. It would be really nice if they did. Got the correct engines, because that's the biggest people crying about. That when you look in those big giant openings on those cowlings, you can tell it's just too sparse, and they're just not. It's just not right. So, anyway, so that's coming in October. Mini Art has been making a lot of releases. I can't even start to go through them with the T3485s and all kinds of stuff. But one of the interesting ones coming up, besides the pigeon set, if you be sure to buy that pigeon set. It'll be gone before you know it, and you won't be able to get your pigeons. Anyways, they're coming out with a set of musical instruments for dioramas, which is interesting, because a lot of times you see wartime photos of destroyed buildings and so forth, and you see something like a piano sitting on the side of the road in a pile of rubble. So it'll make for very interesting diorama material. So glad they're doing that kind of stuff, because they do scaffolding now and bricks, and I mean just everything, and it's very welcome, because it's something that was only in the resin market. So it's definitely needed. Next coming up is a Trumpeter, and I don't know if they're taking a left turn into this or they're just getting their feet wet. They're coming out with a Transformer robot from the movie Transformers. It's Bumblebee, and it's going to be like a Gundam, where again it's pre-colored, snapped together, has a lot of the articulation, and you're supposed to can transform him into the Beetle. So something different here since the first movie came out. So but I'm kind of hoping they'll just be expanding into it. I hope they don't do like Hasegawa did and took a full left turn into, you know, the anime type markets. But we'll see what happens with that. Should be actually a good kit, hopefully. But they're looking at the money. Bandai is so hot right now, and there's so much money in Bandai. I can't find the kits because they just sell out like crazy, and they want a piece of that pie. So a little late to the game, but we'll see what happens. The next one is Border Models, which is a newer company coming out of China. They have been coming out with a ton of Panzer 3s and Panzer 4s, and unfortunately it happens. It's like the 109s. You just get all kinds of companies jumping on the pile at once, trying to come out with the same kit. So right now you have so many choices between the Panzer 2 and 3. It's unbelievable. With the old kits from Dragon, which they kept fixing and accurizing, so you kept having to buy kits. Got to the point where they were really accurate and really nice kits. So these other kits are just as equal as nice, but you know, I don't know how saturated the market is. Obviously they don't think it is because they're coming out with more and more of them. But they're coming out with a nice kit of a Crusader Mark III. Now the only other kit of this, I believe, was the Italiari in 35th scale, and it wasn't very good. I mean, it was good for the time, but it was made in the 80s, so it's long in the tooth, needing replacement. So they're going to do a Crusader Mark III, and it should be well done because they're a very good company. They've been doing stuff on the level of Mang and Takeon. So next one, Mini Art, speaking of Panzer IVs, is going to do a Panzer IV-J with Schrutzen and with interior. Complete engine, transmission, seats, ammo, you name it. I mean, if you've ever had or seen a Mini Art kit with an interior like their T55 series, unbelievable. I mean, the box is packed. They're moderately expensive, about 60, 70 bucks, but what you get is just unbelievable. I mean, all that stuff you'd have to buy separate resin kit or aftermarket would cost you probably 500-600 bucks. And the parts are tiny, unfortunately. They try to make them so accurate that some of the parts are almost unusable. So they are quite a challenge, but they are a nice thing to have and collect, because I don't think they'll ever be doing stuff like that again. They just move from one model to the next, and they usually don't revisit the old stuff. So, and no other company is really coming close to that. So, anyways, that is double check. I think that's about it. Yep, that is about a wrap for new items for August 2020. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you get all my updates. I really appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate the input. So if you have any comments, just put them below and make sure they're constructive so we can make this show better for what you want to see. And as always, keep on building. Thanks for watching.